Hello and welcome to the Wealth Wednesday show. We are super excited to have you join us tonight. We hope you're doing well and that you are keeping financially healthy. Tonight, we are super excited to be discussing on how you can market your business so that you can get to live a grow, get, give lifestyle. I know you're wondering, what does grow, get, give lifestyle mean? Stay with us as our guest speaker, Mr. Mike Skrypnek, all the way from Canada, will be sharing with us the secrets to grow, get, give, as well as how you can market your business to be able to achieve this. Without taking much of your time, allow me to give Mr. Mike the platform for him to introduce himself. Meanwhile, ensure to our YouTube channel, turn on the notification, video and invite as many friends as possible. You may leave us a comment in the chat box letting us know where you're watching this live show from. Mr. Mike, the floor is yours. Please introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Mike Skrypnek. Thank you so much, Sheila. It's really wonderful to be here. Wonderful to join you and maybe share a little ideas around what Grow Get Give is all about. I'm a business consultant. Some may say entrepreneur, coach, speaker, author. I had a 22-year in the financial career in the financial services industry. My last decade was spent invested as helping high net worth families, the millionaire next door, connect their philanthropy with meaningful tax and estate planning, and thus ended up finding out so much good information that led me to this. And I can share that a bit with you in a bit.
Absolutely. And we must say thank you so much for making time to join us today. We know we are going to learn a lot from you. Now, Mike, tell us a little more about yourself. What inspired you to leave your career and get into entrepreneurship? And how was the transition? You know, there is this fear of, oh my God, I'm going into the unknown. So, how was it for you?
Well, wonderful thing about the financial service industry for an entire career. If you've done it long enough, there are so many times when you're in the unknown. I found myself
Mhm,
in the unknown more times than not. Often, as you learn, as you grow, as you establish a
mhm,
longer career, you kind of open up those moments. So for me, when I think about where it was when I made that transition, I have to think back to also a critical moment in my career. And about 13 years into my career, in
mhm,
2008, during the financial crisis, when the world really felt like we were in Armageddon from a financial standpoint internationally.
mhm,
I was
mhm,
driving home from work one day in Calgary, Alberta, where I was living, and I was in my brand new Audi, going to my brand new home.
mhm,
I
mhm,
had a pretty darn good job, but I had just
mhm.
been stuck in traffic and it was snowing. We talked about the weather before we got here. It was snowing
Yes.
in Calgary in September. And I was
Mhm,
listening to the radio and thinking how much I didn't enjoy where I was at that moment in life. And I
mhm,
heard myself on the radio telling the world, because I had just recorded a radio spot. I was doing the market update 5 times a day. And I
mhm,
recorded a spot an hour earlier. And I was telling the world about
mhm,
how Lehman Brothers just went under. And it was at that moment I decided to live with more purpose and to change how it was, that I wasn't living my best life during my days and that I was doing
mhm,
weekends and evenings doing what I loved and what I was passionate about. But I wasn't doing that during the day in my financial career. So I decided to rearrange my entire life and my business to support a
mhm,
purpose. And that purpose for me at
mhm,
the time was giving back to charity.
mhm,
And so I tried to
mhm,
build a business around giving $1 million to charity. And so I had to reconfigure what was normally an industry of hoarding to a business of giving
yeah,
and serving
yeah.
others. And dedicating
Mhm,
oneself to serving others reveals some wonderful
mhm,
things about how you interact with people. And within 5 or 6 years, I'd already doubled that goal and we had redirected over $12.5 million to charity. And I would have
mhm,
full conversations with people. I built a business that
mhm,
gave me time and freedom. I built a
mhm,
business that grew
mhm,
10 times bigger, but even more so,
wow.
it gave me a chance to speak with people about giving. And I would talk to these amazing entrepreneurs, ex-business people, executives who were in their baby boomer years. And they
Mhm.
were looking back at their lives. And every time I would talk to them, they would say, well, I didn't learn that. No one taught me this
Mhm.
that I was teaching them about estate
Mhm.
planning and philanthropic giving. No one was teaching them 20
Mhm.
years earlier. And they would tell me immediately, here's what I would have done if I knew better 20 years ago. And so that wisdom combined with the
Mhm.
giving I was able to help others do just motivated me to look to see where another opportunity, a bigger opportunity was. And that opportunity was with those people who were 20 years younger. And it was coaching them
Mhm.
with all this wisdom I had learned, with all the experience
Mhm.
I had in finance and business, and then
Mhm.
ultimately with my own experience of how to build a business from scratch, doing
Mhm.
something I was passionate about. And I took all of that, wrapped it up into what I do now in Grow, Get, Give coaching, and I've been coaching ever since.
Wow, that is super amazing. Mike, you said something. You had a goal of giving $1 million to charity, and you focused on that goal. And deep down, you also wanted to give back to the community or to charity without feeling the pain. Now, from this goal of giving 1 million to charity, within a span of 5 years, you had made more millions,
Mhm.
10 times. Now, that means there's something you are doing in this business that made you to grow. So, in your own words, how would you define business marketing from the experience you've just given us?
Wow. We'll break it down a little bit. We'll deconstruct it. So the goal is growth. For me in life, it's about growth, lifelong
Mhm.
learning, growing, always adding on. We only have so much time in our life. We have to learn, and it's cumulative so we can build wisdom. But in business, you know, the goal is growth. And the goal is also measured by
Mhm.
money as a scorecard. So let's simplify it. And money measures
Mhm.
is a measurement tool for how your business grows. And in some people's mind, that's about success. In my world,
Mhm.
profit equals impact, right? So the goal
Mhm.
then and growth is about realizing
Mhm.
your full impact through your craft and how you serve or what you do for others. And really, this is
Mhm.
the essence of conscious capitalism. So defining business marketing is
Mhm.
kind of, for me, it's like Aristotle said. He talked about ethos, logos, and pathos,
Mhm.
right? And it's
Yeah.
about making a connection. And
Mhm.
ethos is about establishing your authority. Logos is about the logical argument for your point. And pathos is your attempt to
Mhm.
sway others' opinion. And when you think about
Mhm.
it in terms of business marketing, it really
Mhm.
comes down to why you do what you do, who you're doing it
Yeah.
for, right?
Mhm.
And what you're doing to help them, to benefit them. So it's about credibility. So business marketing is all about the credibility you bring to the table.
Mhm. I love the fact that you said credibility, because that is one thing that most people don't focus on it, but it's something that it's like a backbone for any business to really grow, and even to get people refer you to another person. They want
Mhm.
to find out how credible is this vision that Sheila is taking forward, how credible is grow, get, give philosophy. And I love the fact that you mentioned that. Now, we've had people have different preferentials. And when it comes to marketing, what types of marketing should a business consider?
Well, let's consider deeper, thinking about
Mhm.
ethos and logos and pathos. So ethos and logos
Mhm.
are really about
Mhm.
why you wake up, what your passion is, what your purpose is every day. And
Mhm.
logos is about what you've done. So the evidence, right? The evidence
Yeah.
that positions you as an authority. And when we
Mhm.
talk about evidence that positions you, I'm talking about the things you've written, the blogs you've written, the
Mhm.
research papers, the white papers, the accreditations that you have. That's your logos, right? The books that you've written.
Mhm.
I'm fortunate to have written 8 books already. And that positions me as an authority in a marketplace.
Mhm.
The ethos, the
Mhm.
fact that I'm able to connect that with why I wake up every day is critically
Mm-hmm.
important as well. And it's the same for anyone. So marketing then, how you consider it is, how do you wrap those up? How do you share those with the world, and in what format? The next would
Mm-hmm.
be, how do you connect through pathos, through who you hang with, right? Who your
Mm-hmm.
credibility partners are. Who do you
Mm-hmm.
serve that can benefit from what you do, and we mutually
Mm-hmm.
benefit our shared client or our shared customer, right? And when we
Yeah.
learn how to
Mm-hmm.
connect with a credibility
Mm-hmm.
partner and serve them,
Mm-hmm.
we can then
Mm-hmm.
reach the people that both of us serve and engage them as a client, as a customer, as a partner, a stakeholder. And I often
Mm-hmm.
use the term edutainment. I really
Mm-hmm.
believe strongly that when you consider all those things that you publish for the world, the media that you put out, just like this podcast or this video interview, as well as a book, or any marketing, it really
Mm-hmm.
matters that we share with people the journey that they go on, the story that they
Mm-hmm.
tell themselves about why what we do or what we sell, our product or service,
Mm-hmm.
is relevant to
Mm-hmm.
them, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
entertain and we educate along the way. And people always enjoy that entertainment because it sparks their emotion. And the
Yeah.
education part adds the logic. So it's always a dance of right and left brain. So how I market and the types of
Mm-hmm.
marketing are where your customers are in terms of what they look
Mm-hmm.
at, what they read, what they consume, and how you're
Mm-hmm.
going to convey that edutainment, that messaging that educates and brings them
Mm-hmm.
along that journey.
Amazing. And I must congratulate you for writing 8 books, which have become international bestsellers. Congratulations. We need to learn from you on the tips of writing an international best-selling book. Maybe we can do that as another episode later on,
Sounds good.
if time allows, right? Now, let's talk about business growth, because that is one of the key things every entrepreneur is looking into. When we start a business, you're like, when will my business break even? How will it grow after this years? What should I expect? So what are some of the marketing strategies to fuel business growth?
Well, underneath that connection between your values or what it is that makes you tick and how your market or
Mm-hmm.
your ideal customer, how you communicate,
Mm-hmm.
once you've made those connections, then your business growth depends on how you utilize. It's part of my get more freedom. Like, growth is one thing, but getting freedom as a business owner allows you the
Mm-hmm.
growth, right? And so how do you do that? Well, you do that through the use of people,
Mm-hmm.
processes, and systems, right?
Mm-hmm.
The people you bring into your life, the people who support you, the people you partner
Yeah.
with, those who you collaborate, that's where you
Mm-hmm.
gain freedom. People give you
Mm-hmm.
freedom, they give you reach, and they give you impact.
Mm-hmm.
Processes give you
Mm-hmm.
leverage, right? If you know how to
Mm-hmm.
repeat the same process over and over again, suddenly time is no longer wasted in reinventing things. So processes within your business, within your life, help you repeat,
Mm-hmm.
reliably repeat, and improve along the way. So processes give you leverage. And then
Mm-hmm.
building systems, using the right systems within your business, be it software, be it advanced processes that turn into entire systems. Using
Mm-hmm.
systems gives you scalability. So when you talk about
Yeah.
business growth, we often can get ahead of ourselves. We're rapidly trying to grow and make a difference, but really all we're doing is filling in a sand, like we're digging in a sand hole. And we don't want to dig in a
Mm-hmm.
sand hole because it just keeps filling in. How we avoid that is
Mm-hmm.
having the right processes and systems in our life so we can scale without stressing, the entrepreneur or the business owner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Amazing. I like the fact that you said people, process, and systems. Especially the people part. It's very important to build the relevant network, because I'm one person who believes you cannot be for everyone. You must define your market niche, because you cannot say like, oh, I'm for everyone. once you are able to narrow down to know like this is the people I'm targeting, then it's going to even help you when it comes to how you market. You just mentioned something on the types of marketing, whereby people nowadays they want a mix of entertainment and then the logic, so that you can tap into their emotion as well as bring out the message you want to bring. I really like that. Now, someone could be asking, why should I market my business? Because I've seen people like they market their business in January. The next time they will start talking about their business is next year, maybe May, when they notice like, oh, my sales are going down. So what's the importance? What's the importance of always, telling people about what you're doing?
Well, I don't want to like cut off this question, but it's really
Mhm.
simple. If you don't market,
Yeah.
you don't attract
Mm.
customers. If you don't attract customers, you don't have a business. So that's the most simple way of looking at it. But
Mhm.
marketing is about continuing the story. And Seth Godin wrote a great book, "All Marketers Are Liars," or he crossed it out and says, "Tell stories." And it is
Mhm.
about telling stories. It is about creating the storyline for your business or what it is that you do, or your product or service, and
Mhm.
matching it to the story that your customer or your audience prospects also tell themselves. So we all have inner dialogues about how we feel about certain products, certain services, certain difficulties or opportunities in our life. And as we tell
Mhm.
ourselves these stories and we go throughout our day, marketing, good marketing, always connects us with what we need, right? We have a
Yeah.
desire for something we want, and then and marketing connects that and then can deliver what we need.
Mhm.
So it's important to do business marketing, because if you don't, you won't end up with
Mhm.
customers. But what it is also is about maintaining that
Mhm.
storyline so that you're always in this dance and this relationship with the people you might
Mhm.
serve, the people who may buy
Mhm.
from you or connect you with others.
I like the fact that you said maintaining the storyline. Most entrepreneurs, they know how to start the story, but maintaining the storyline is where they face challenges here and there, because they think like, okay, I've just started my story, that's enough. And when we started, you mentioned something about when you are transitioning from the financial industry into the business world full time. You wanted to give more to the society. So how can one practice philanthropy without sabotaging their financial goals? Because I've met people who say, okay, I really want to give back, but again, the more I'm giving, the more I'm sabotaging my own financial goals. You just mentioned to us that you were able to give $1 million to charity. So how did you make that happen?
when when I when I was sitting in my car, and then I had this idea to be more purpose driven back then.
Mhm.
It took a while to figure out how I
Mhm.
wanted to do that, and so I did. I wrote on the whiteboard in my office, direct help guide families to give $1 million a year to charity,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I wrote that down, and that stayed on my board for the next 7-8 years. And what that meant was I had to figure out how to do a business that delivered that. And I was in the financial service. I was a portfolio manager doing wealth management,
Mhm.
legacy planning. So how did I do that?
Mhm.
Well, I also talked to my friends and peers in my office, and they laughed. They said, "Well, you're in the you're
Mhm.
serving no nonprofits, which means you're destined for no profit. If you want to give money
Yeah.
away, how are you going to have money? The business of financial advisory and investment management is about hoarding capital, right? It's inherently about
Yeah.
how much assets you have." And so the perception
Mhm.
was that by giving it away, I was
Mhm.
being serving a detriment. And people think about that when they think of giving. And often people will
Mhm.
show their support through tithing. Some people just naturally 10% of their
Mhm.
revenue or income goes into tithing every year. Uh,
Yeah.
that can be a practice, and that's a common practice. But people
Mhm.
continue to think about scarcity. My first book
Yeah.
ever was written on philanthropy,
Mhm.
and it was about the journey of philanthropy. And it really
Mhm.
discussed the concept that we're not just giving money, that we're also giving
Mhm.
time and we're giving influence. So at different
Yeah.
times, we're able to pull more resources from different buckets. And if our bucket is
Mhm.
time, if we don't have the financial resource, I didn't have $1 million to give, but after
Yeah.
6 years, I helped move 12.5 million to charity. And I wasn't working
Mhm.
for a charity. I was in the financial services industry, but we were
Mhm.
able to mobilize that. And part of it was I gave the influence. I would volunteer my
Mhm.
time and I would give influence. And my
Mhm.
influence would be I had knowledge and I understood,
Mhm.
and I continue to
Mhm.
understand how tax and
Mhm.
estate planning works, how it works for
Mhm.
families who are considering the transition of their wealth. And I
Mhm.
understood that it was more than what we were providing or giving. But when we looked at
Mhm.
it strategically, in tax and estate planning, we learned that it was what we were protecting our wealth and we
Mhm.
we're preserving our
Mhm.
wealth. And the younger you were, the more options
Mhm.
you actually had in that process.
Mhm.
They were more financially feasible. It often related
Mhm.
to tax. It was about paying
Mhm.
less or no tax in your estate and elevating your
Mhm.
giving using products like
Mhm.
insurance and other strategic
Mhm.
financial planning to do it. So I was always able to take a smaller gift. People might give
Yeah.
500, $1,000 a year to their favorite charity, and we were able to
Mhm.
multiply it by 10 or 100 times with good strategic
Mhm.
long-term planning. And it was planned giving that really was the structure around that. So we can
Well,
give,
I like.
we don't have to give with all
Mhm.
our money. If you're 60 and you buy
Mhm.
insurance or you invest in insurance with
Mhm.
the idea that maybe I'm going to gift it to charity, which will cover
Mhm.
the taxes of
Mhm.
my estate, then you're
Mhm.
paying a premium, right? But you understand this.
Mhm.
If we're investing in insurance, for example, and my business wasn't insurance. This was a great tool. And that was
Yeah.
if I was 40 or even younger,
Mhm.
my insurance is practically
Mhm.
free. I'm practically
Mhm.
guaranteed being covered,
Mhm.
and I can underwrite
Mhm.
a fairly significant policy. And so you could give
Mhm.
500,000 or $1 million to charity in your estate for
Mhm.
only a couple $100 a month. And so if you think about
Wow.
the trade-off, that's and in the
Mhm.
meantime, you're protecting your family, you're planning for your estate, you're doing all these wonderful
Mhm.
things with a very
Yeah.
small amount of cash flow.
Wow, amazing. I really like that, especially the strategic planning side of it. I believe when you have a good strategy in place, then things are able to fall in place easily. Now, you've been a champion of grow, get, give. And this is a slogan that you have been known for out there online. Even that is how I knew you. So, how did it come about, and what's the story behind it? Why grow, get, give? Why not grow, sell, give? you know
I
Why
completely
just for G?
uh, it's funny, it almost should be give, grow, get, give,
Mhm.
because people
Mhm.
who are attracted to the premise and the reason
Mhm.
I kind of evolved in this way was because my
Mhm.
first intention was to give back. And so
Mhm.
maybe give, grow, get, give, is how it should work.
Mhm.
But I looked at what I did and what I
Mhm.
was able to do as a coach, as a
Mhm.
business consultant, as a financial and
Mhm.
strategic philanthropic planner, was I was able to
Mhm.
help people recognize opportunities that they don't see for themselves, and they can have a bigger impact. They can get more freedom,
Mhm.
and they can give back.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that was something I thought, boy, I can make an impact that make some input that leverages other
Mhm.
people's impact. So that was how it started. Grow is
Mhm.
all about growing
Mhm.
your business, right? Doing something
Mhm.
unique. There's not much more
Yeah.
unique than giving money away in the financial
Mhm.
services industry. So how do you
Yeah.
create a niche business that
Mhm.
identifies with your soul, that connects your
Mhm.
passion and purpose, and make it
Mhm.
work? And so grow is all about that process, about building
Mhm.
the marketing and the positioning and your ideal customer. Get
Yeah.
is about freedom. Get is about
Mhm.
having that, because what happens after you've grown for a while is you run out of time,
Yeah.
right? Right? We're
Yeah,
victims of
true.
our own success. And what I found
Mhm.
was I was a victim of my success. I had no time. I couldn't see my family, couldn't do the
Mhm.
things I love to do. I couldn't be creative the way I wanted to. And so Get was about
Mhm.
utilizing people, processes, and systems in a way that gave you the time, that gave you the freedom.
Mhm.
And that was a
Mhm.
necessary part of my own business journey. And then giving
Mhm.
back for me was originally about philanthropy, about the financial giving for bigger causes.
Mhm.
But as I've grown
Mhm.
along and as I went along in business and in life and shifted into coaching, I realized that
Mhm.
giving back is more, right? More than just giving money to charity.
Yeah.
If we're not
Yes.
well, we can't give
Mhm.
back. So personal and professional development matters. So how you are
Mhm.
giving back to yourself, how you are then,
Mhm.
as a result, giving back in a healthy way to your family. Ultimately,
Mhm.
you have, I think, an obligation and a responsibility to give back to your community, right?
Yeah.
That may be the physical geographic, or maybe it's your online
Mhm.
community, or whoever it is that are your supporters and
Mhm.
stakeholders. You need to be able to give to them in some way. And then we can
Yeah.
consider the bigger causes. And we don't have
Mhm.
to do it chronologically. Grow, get,
Mhm.
give is like,
Mhm.
I say it's like the legs on a stool, on a three-legged
Mhm.
stool. We're not looking for
Mhm.
life balance, work-life balance. We're looking for work-life stability. And when we bring three legs into the story, grow, get, give, every once in a
Mhm.
while we need more give, right? And every once
Yeah.
in a while we might need more grow. And so these are all
Mhm.
things that we either push or pull on these levers to gain our stability. And so grow, get, give is about that. It's about some chronological requirement, but ultimately it's where do
Mhm.
we need the most today, and how will it take me
Yeah.
another step further? So that's a little bit of what the grow, get, give story is all about. And ultimately, um, it gets us to one place, and that is, if we achieve more growth money, right, in our business, we can have
Mhm.
more impact. And if we have more
Yeah.
impact, we'll realize more happiness. We're all happier when we feel like we make a contribution. If we have more time, right, if we
Mhm.
lose that fear of time, the not having enough time, and we gain
Mhm.
freedom, we become calm. You never see
Yes.
someone who's got control of their schedule and their time in life.
Mm.
You don't see them, they're not
Mhm.
harried, they're not rushed, they're
Yeah.
calm,
Yeah.
right? And we all seek
Mhm.
that. If we only had more time and freedom, we'd be calmer, right? And then
Mhm.
ultimately, we also need energy. We need to wake up every day feeling energized and ready to go. And
Yeah.
that really
Mhm.
connects to whether or not we're living our dreams. And so if we're living in a pursuit of, or if we're actually living our dreams, we
Mhm.
become open to love, to receiving love and giving love. And
Mhm.
if we're living our
Yes.
dreams, or if we're on our path, we're able to share
Mhm.
love with others because we're content.
Mhm.
We know we're purposefully driven. We're moving forward towards something that matters to us. So if you think about all of this, grow, get, give, it ultimately means we have happiness, we have calm,
Yeah.
and we have love in our
Mhm.
life. And that's the end result,
Yes.
really.
Mhm. Yeah, and actually that is what most people pursue. Like, we all need to be calm, we all need to be impactful, and we all need to love and feel loved. And one thing I've come to learn, the more you are able to give, not just financially, even your time, your knowledge, that act itself makes you feel fulfilled and re-energized for the next day or the next time. And that is one of our core values for the Wealth Wednesday show. I started this show because I wanted to give back to the community, and I thought of bringing in experts from various industries so that we can together, while we are doing such a session, someone who may not be able to pay for the service, they can get an information from us that can take them to the next level. So again, thank you so much for coming in. Now we come to our last question, and that will be, now there are businesses that are watching us, or entrepreneurs who are watching us, and they are like, I really want my business to get to that level of grow, get, give. So how can they do that?
It all starts with serving. Build your
Mm-hmm.
business on your values and serving
Mm-hmm.
others, recognizing that giving back to you, your family, your
Mm-hmm.
community, and the causes or the world at large, that is the fundamental basis of how we grow. Right. And as we
Mm-hmm.
grow, we always have to build in, processes and systems, and we have people
Yeah.
that help us gain leverage and freedom. But if we fundamentally aren't leading with a serving mentality, a conscious
Mm-hmm.
capitalist mentality in business, we then
Mm-hmm.
will lose track of growth. We'll have scattered
Mm-hmm.
output. We'll lack impact, which is kind of that
Mm-hmm.
happiness factor, right? And we'll
Yeah.
lose track of our time, which makes us just uneasy and unsettled. So if we focus on those things, the other
Mm-hmm.
pieces will take care of themselves because we're in tune with serving others and delivering a connection that
Mm-hmm.
allows us to sell our goods, to exchange our commerce and to continue on and make an
Mm-hmm.
impact.
Wow. Thank you so much. My takeaway is serve others and focus on delivering a connection before delivering products and services. That's super amazing.
Right.
Delivering a connection, because people will always remember how you made them feel, how you stepped in, and that is how a connection is built. Mr. Mike, I would want us to continue with this conversation, but unfortunately, time is not on our side. So, if someone would want to contact you and as well as get your books, how can they reach out to you?
Really simple. My website is
Mm-hmm.
growgetgive.com, or
Mm-hmm.
find me on LinkedIn. You connect
Mm-hmm.
on either of those two platforms, you'll find me. All my books are available on
Mm-hmm.
amazon.com.ca internationally, but growgetgive.com, and find me on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming through. To our audience, thank you so much. I know you're going to watch this later on in the day. We want to thank you for tuning in. If you have any question or any comment, you may feel free to write in the chat box. And if there will be any question, you'll just forward it to our guest speaker. Remember, Mr. Mike Skrypnek is the founder of Grow Get Give, and he is also an international sorry, he's also an author of 8 best-selling books as well as a business coach. He has just mentioned to us how you can connect to him. Remember to serve your way to success. The more you serve, the more you are able to build connections that are able to help you grow, get, and give. Until then, we hope to see you in our next episode. Take care and God bless you.
Lovely. Thank you, Sheila.
Welcome.